I almost died. Do you know that? Like, you would have been saying this at my funeral. Hello, it's your girl Jasmine O, and welcome back to another video. So in my last video, I talked about how important, especially this year, to know your place in people's lives and their place in your lives. And somebody was like, can you elaborate? Well, excuse me, don't mind if I do, you feel me? So knowing your place in people's lives, this is a sad realization that I've come to. Like, I've always known this, but sometimes when you're intentional, like me, everything that I strive to do in life is intentional, right? So I try to make intentional, quality, deep friendships. I try to make intentional relations with people, because to me that matters. Like, all that fake stuff, like, that's cute, but me personally, I like making intentional connections, right? When people are near and dear to me and I consider you a friend or a close person who was in my circle and you're coming around my family and stuff, like, that's important to me. To some people that might be like, oh, whatever. But to me, like, that's a big deal. So when I have people around me and then eventually you start acting up or start acting like I don't matter, that really hurts me, because I'm like, me, you knowing my mom is a big deal. You being around my family is a big deal. You coming to my house is a big deal. You being around my family and their homes and their things that they're doing, like me inviting you to stuff like that, is a big deal. So last year, I had some issues, okay? And you guys know that I got the 19 back in May. And then, like, as the year went on, it just got really down the hill from there. And I know in my last video I talked about how 2021 ended very ghetto, okay? Very ghetto-like, very strife, very confusion, but God, okay? And so in those moments, I was looking for certain people to come out and say, like, oh, Jazz, we're thinking about you. Oh, Jazz, you're on our minds. But nobody did. Like, it never happened. They never came, and they're just carrying on like nothing happened. And to me, that was very eye-opening and hurtful, because I felt like I've considered you a friend. I've considered you a close contact, if you will. And so I was disappointed. And many a times, like, even like birthdays, I remember like a forever friend, us falling out because my birthday came around and it was like, I don't care. And then 5 days later, like, I not knowing that I had planned this whole surprise party for this person, and now I have to go back and go celebrate them. They didn't even say thank you. None of that happened. And we stopped talking, and she didn't even realize that we had stopped talking. It was like a good 6, 7, 8 months before she realized that we don't talk like we used to. And I was out the country, and she sent me a message like, hey, I don't know what happened, but I just realized we haven't really spoke till after my birthday. Can you imagine? This was somebody that I held near and dear. Anyway, as I got older, I try to put barriers and things in place and boundaries, okay? We're going to talk about that soon, but put boundaries in place to help me not overextend myself or to let people in who didn't mean well or who didn't have the same intentions as me. At this point, I have people around me that I care for, that I trust, but this year and what happened and how my year ended last year has really been eye-opening to me about knowing my place in people's lives and knowing their place in my lives. So one thing I will say is pay attention to how they act or treat you. Action speaks louder than words, and this is pertaining to everything. God doesn't just say he loves us. God doesn't just say he cares for us. He literally came down in our ghetto world, okay, and became a human and died and took on everything that we will ever experience and died for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, his actions spoke way louder than his words, which his words are good. And so when you're with this person, with this friend, with this relationship, their actions should speak louder than words. I have people tell me like, yo, you're my girl. I'm down for you, whatever. Like, I got your back. But can't even call me and check on me. And then people like check on your strong friends. And they're the same ones who will make those posts or be quick to be like, oh my God, yes. But you don't even do it. You don't even practice what you preach. Pay attention to how they treat you. Do they say one thing and do another? Do they say they will show up for you? Not just in moments that everybody expects, like birthdays, graduation, just like big deals, but show up for you in the sense like, I haven't seen Jasmine in a while. Let me call her. Actually, let me go see her. Actually, let me just pop up on her. Let me send her something so she knows that I'm thinking about her. Do their actions speak louder than the words that they're saying to you? Like, I got your back, you're my friend. Pay attention to the way they speak to you, okay? First of all, if respect is not the foundation of a relationship, friendship, romantic, platonic, whatever, no, absolutely not. Because respect is how you respect me is how you treat me. So the way you're talking to me, their words is harsh. Now you can say like, me and my friends, we call each other bitchs and whatnot. That's on y'all. That's y'all's business. Please don't call each other that. However, if it's coming from a place of respect, like, don't ever talk to me that way. Don't ever think that that's okay. But they constantly do this. Even after you've expressed to them, like, listen, I don't like the way you're talking to me. I feel very disrespected by your words. If they continue in that fashion, yeah, you don't mean as much to them as you think that you do, okay? Pay attention to how they show up for you. Pay attention to how they show up. Pay attention to how they show up for you. I cannot stress this freaking enough. How do they show up, or do they not show up? I've had so many people not show up for me. I literally had this one friend. It was my birthday, and I'm not a big birthday celebrator person. Like, again, everything that I do, I want it to be genuine, so I don't want people relate. I'm not going to ask you how you doing if I don't mean it. You know what I'm saying? So don't ask me. And I can respect that. So everything that I do comes from a place from genuineness. A lot of times. I really try my best because it's hard for me to like fake through things and, we're here. And I had something at the house, and this person came. Now, before they came, they were like, hey, girl, like, I have another thing to go to. Like, it's really important. I really can't miss it. Like, I really, really have to be there. And they called me the day of. And I was just like, things come up. Things change. So maybe this person is telling the truth. Like, okay, that's fine. They came to the house, and the whole time they were like, when are we going to cut the cake? When is this going to happen? Like, I want to be here for everything, but I also have to go. And I'm like, that's perfectly fine. So they came, and I felt a bit rushed, and I felt a bit like, why did you come in the first place if you knew you were going to leave? Now, I'm not saying that people can come and go. I'm not saying that plans can't change, but you knew how this is a big deal to me because I never really celebrate my birthday with other people. Like, I'll do stuff for myself, and I'll go like, oh, it's not that, like, it's fine. Anyway, this person leaves. And so the rest of the people at said gathering, we were like, okay, let's go to the mall, let's go catch a movie, blah, blah, blah. But they made it seem like it was like a family thing that they couldn't miss. And that's absolutely fine. Like, family always comes first. Y'all, I get to the mall with everybody else, and there she is with her boyfriend and another girl who couldn't make it to the party, and her boyfriend. And they're just on a double date, like walking around the mall. And I was just like, wow. And your birthday, you had us out in the cold, waiting to go to the club. And this is what you, like, I felt so taken advantage of. Like, I show up for my friends as much as I can, but a lot of times it didn't feel like this friend was showing up for me. So how they show up for you when it truly matters, outside of the norm of birthdays, graduations, celebrations, whatever, how does this person show up for you? Okay, and I think managing those expectations will really lead you from being like disappointed, because a lot of times we care for people. That's one thing I noticed. Like, what I would do, I expect people will do the same for me. And you know that they won't, but you kind of hope that they will, and then they don't, and then you're like, dang, for real? So yes, know your place in people's lives. Don't be surprised when it's not going how you thought it would go or what you expected it to be. Manage your expectations. Now, there are people who, they call me, they don't call me, all of that. I'm just like, you know what? From what I went through this past year and things that I've seen my parents go through and just understanding human behavior, I'm managing expectations. Now, I want to say this to you. After you have reevaluated your friendships on how they show up for you, how they treat you, how their actions are speaking louder than words, if you still choose to be friends with this person, then you're saying, I'm going to manage my expectation because I already know what's coming, right? Like, I expect this, whatever. You're willing to accept whatever they're giving you. However, there's some friends that I've had to make a shift. Okay, I thought we were on level 10. Now I see that we were really on level 2. So I am going to knock myself down a bit and I'm going to back up. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that I overgave in something that did not require all that effort. You know what I'm saying? There's some, again, friendships that I realized that I'm going to manage how much of myself and my availability I'm giving to them. So I've drawn new boundaries, and maybe you may need to do that. There's some friendships that we did have to let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not working for me. This is no longer serving me, and I feel really disrespected and really let down by you because, again, for me, like I stated before, letting people in is a big deal for me. It's not something that comes to me easy. It's not something that I'm just like, oh, hey, here you're here. Like, if I'm letting you in on certain things, that's a big deal. So for you to not recognize that vulnerability, for you to not recognize that me letting you in is a big deal. When we've talked about this and you want to go and skedaddle of my heart, of our friendship, you got to go, okay? So managing your expectations to how you're going to relate to them, understanding what friendships you need to let go once you realize this, and just understand that maybe don't make friends like that. Like, I'm not saying make friends like that and then manage your expectations. But then in the first place or in the next time, choose wisely. Let people in wisely. Don't give so much of yourself readily. Because as you gradually do that, you can see the type of person that person is and put them on the level that they are. Okay? But I'm not saying all of this for you to go cut people off. I'm just saying know your place. There's some people that I'm just like, you know what? You're not a bad person, but you don't care for me the way I thought. And therefore, you cannot continue on this journey with me. So you're going to stay here at this level. You know what I'm saying? And then there's some people that I have cut off altogether. And then there's some people that we've had a conversation and they've kind of understood like, oh, wow, I didn't realize. Let me step up for you in this way. And there's some people you have the conversation and still don't care. My guy, just move on. Cut back, you know. Think about how you want to deal with that moving forward. Remember that if you're choosing to stay, you're choosing to deal with this is a choice that you're making. So is this something that you want to do? There's some friends that I deal with accordingly. They text me once every 6 months. Hey, girl, hey. Okay. There's some people who text me or call me when they're in trouble. Now, guess what? You may need to draw new boundaries. New boundaries of how available you are to them, how available they are to you to protect your heart and your sanity. Because I remember, like, I thought a friend called me after not calling me or checking up on me when everything happened late last year. And this person was just like, oh, I haven't talked to you in a while, so I was just calling you. And I was just like, you know what? I really appreciate it, you know? And then I was like, oh, girl, thank you. Like, how are you? And they were like, you know, it's just been a lot going on. Skirt, ma'am, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I completely understand. It'd be like that sometimes. I know she was mad confused. She was astonished because me would have been like, oh no, what's going on? Tell me, how did it make you feel? Oh, and break it down. Like, you know what the Bible says and the Lord says, and you know, even in all of this, I'm going to be praying for you. I didn't care. I don't want to hear it. Girl, I almost died. Do you know that? Like, you would have been saying this at my funeral. You would have been in my tomb and be like, today was a really bad day. Y'all don't understand. People don't care as much as they act like they care. I'm going to say that. But you know, I'm a Christian and the Lord is working on me. So anyway, manage your expectations. Cut back on how available they are to you, how available you are to them, draw boundaries. And sometimes I've said all of this, but you may not want to deal with none of it. You know what I'm saying? You can let them know, listen, I thought we were friends. You've done this to offend me. If this person is truly your friend, how I understand friendships to be, and I'm not saying like we're acquaintances and you let me down, but like you're my girl. I'm claiming you're my girl. Have a conversation with them because the Bible encourages us. If you have an issue with somebody, go to them. If they don't hear you, go back with somebody else. talk to them. Like, that's fine. Have a conversation. And if it improves, great. If it doesn't improve, you have a decision now to make. I've said all of this, but the decision lies with you. If you choose to stay in these friendships, if you choose to have these people in your life, you can either know your place in their lives and manage your expectations, or you can say, you know what, I don't want to manage my expectations. This is too much. I don't feel like I have to minimize myself or minimize how much I give of myself in a relationship, and I want to walk away. And that's fine too. That's completely up to you. I just wanted to share how to know your place in people's lives and know their place in your lives. Okay, some of the people I mentioned in this video, they would never ever, like, I was making plans like, you were going to be my wedding, but now you're not. You were going to be this to my kid, but now you're going to be over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's no hard feelings, but well, maybe it is. But at the same time, what I thought was important to me and how I thought you were important to me, I realized I wasn't the same for you. And that's fine. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I want you to comment down below, how do you know your place in people's lives, and how do they know their place in your lives? Like, how do you manage that? How do you go about it? What type of boundaries do you set? Okay, if you haven't done so already, comment, like, and subscribe to this channel. All right, thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you come back soon because there's so much more to talk about. Until next time, bye. Y'all like my green? Because it's giving slime. It's giving springtime. It's giving fresh. It's giving Sprite. It's giving Sierra Mist. Because y'all know the Sierra Mist colors a little bit. It's giving, where is my Boaz? Stop playing with me. Okay. It's giving Lord of the Harvest. Anyway, bye, you guys. Have a wonderful day. Until next time. Bye, Joes. Okay. Whew. Proud of me.